Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajeem. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma ya muqallibul qulub sabbit qalbi ala dinik. Ameen. Today we'll do Surah Rehman and we'll do it in two parts, inshallah. The first part is we'll do from verse number 1 till verse number 34, inshallah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman, the Most Merciful. Allama al-Quran, taught the Quran. Khalaq al-Insan, He created man. Allamahul Bayaan, and taught him to speak. Ash-Shamsu wal-Qamaru bihusban, the sun and moon orbit in calculated courses. Verse number 6, وَالنَّجْمُ وَالشَّجَرُ يَسْجُدَانِ, and the creeper and the tree prostrate. وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ, Allah raised the sky and erected the scales. Allah تَطْغَوْا فِي الْمِيزَانِ, so that you do not transgress in the matter of the scale. وَأَقِيمُوا الْوَزْنَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا تُخْسِرُونَ الْمِيزَانَ, and so that you establish the scale with justice and you do not make the scale deficient. وَالْأَرْضَ وَضَعَهَا لِلْأَنَامِ, Allah has placed the earth for the people. Verse number 11, فِيهَا فَاكِهَةٌ وَالنَّخْلُ ذَاتُ الْأَكْمَامِ, on it are fruit, palms with sheeted stalks. وَالْحُبُّ ذُو الْأَصْفِ وَالرِّيحَانِ, seeds as calves and sustenance as well. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, so which favors of your Rabb do the two of you, man and jinn, deny? In Surah Rehman, Allah discusses the various favors that He has blessed man and jinn with. These favors are tremendous and benefit people in this world and in the Akhirah. Allah repeat the verse, so which favors of your Rabb do the two of you, man and jinn, deny? 31 times in the Surah. This lends great beauty to the Surah in terms of recitation and meaning. The opening verses of Surah Rehman make mention of such bounties that feed one's iman, soul and body. Allah begins by saying, Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, taught the Quran. The Quran is an extremely great bounty of Allah to mankind. Allah taught man the words of Quran, the meaning of the verses, and has also allowed man to understand the equivalence and rhetoric of the Quran. In addition of this, Allah has also made it easy for man to memorize the Quran. Man who is merely an entity filled with blood is extremely honored to be able to contain the speech of Allah in his bosom and to speak it with his tongue. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of books have been written containing explanations of the Quran, and this practice will continue until Qiyamah. Besides teaching the Quran to man, Allah has also granted him the privilege of teaching the Quran to others. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that when a person has been granted the bounty of the Quran, that he has memorized it, and he thinks that another person has a bounty greater than this, then he is grateful for an extremely great bounty. Hazrat Usman Raziyallahu Ta'ala anhu reports that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best of you is he who learns the Quran and teaches it. Narrated by Bukhari, volume 2, page number 270. Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "The best of my ummah are the bearers of the Quran and those who stay awake in ibadah at night." Narrated by Mishkat, page 110. The Quran is the book of Allah as well as Allah's speech. The Muslims are truly honored to have this great miracle in their hand, in their hearts, and flowing fluently even the tongues of their little children. They are even able to remember the verses that are like mustahabat, mutasabihat, and are able to recite it while sleeping and when awake. People who have nothing of the Quran in their hearts are extremely unfortunate. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The heart that has nothing of the Quran is like a deserted house." Narrated by Mishkat 186 from Tirmizi and Darmi. Allah continues to say that He created man and taught him to speak. Allah granted man knowledge, granted him the ability to speak, and even taught him how to utilize this ability. Man can thus express what he feels and thinks. Allah Ta'ala has also taught man how to speak eloquently and how to explain the meanings of the Quran. Not only did Allah teach people speech, but He taught man various languages and manners of expression. Man is also able to translate from language to language. Allah then speaks of the solar and lunar orbits when He says the sun and moon orbit in calculated courses. The orbit and movement of the sun and moon have been determined by Allah, and they are not at liberty to move as they please and when they please. Allah says in Surah Yasin, "The sun travels towards its destination. This is the decree of the mighty, the all-knowing. We have stipulated places for the moon until it returns like a branch of an old date palm. It is not possible for the sun to catch up with the moon, nor is it possible for the night to precede the day. They all swim within their orbits." Narrated in Surah Yasin. The number of the surah is 36 in the Quran. Verse is 38 till 40. Furthermore, the creeper and the tree prostrate just like worshippers are pleased to prostrate before Allah out of obedience to Him. So too are all of Allah's creation pleased to obey Him, including those plants that have an upright trunk and those that creep and have no rigidity. The watermelon, pumpkin, and other plants that are unable to stand erect are referred to in this verse together with all large and small trees that stand by themselves. The interpretation is favored by Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Hazrat Ibn Jarir radiallahu ta'ala salam. Allah then speaks of the sky when He says that He raised the sky. It is Allah who raised the sky to its towering height. Once a person understands this, he will realize that it is also Allah who gives height to everything else, whether the height is physical or figurative. Allah Ta'ala states further that He erected the scale so that you do not transgress in the matter of the scale, and so that you establish the scale with justice and you do not make the scale deficient. Allah Ta'ala conscious man not to demand extra in weight when dues are given to him and not to reduce weight when payment is due from him. The abomination of this act is explained in the opening verses of Surah Mutaffifin. The number of surah is 83 in the Quran and the verses are 1 till 6. The command to be just in weight and measurement is also mentioned in Surah An'am, verse number 152, where Allah commands, "And give full measure and weight in fairness." Allah also commands the same in Surah Bani Israel, where He says, "Measure is full when you measure and weigh with proper scales." Verse number 35. Furthermore, Allah says that He has placed the earth earth for people. Allah Ta'ala has made the earth such that it is neither too hard nor too soft. People are able to dig the earth to create dams, wells, graves, plantation, and lay the foundation of their buildings. At the same time, the earth can support man's structures, carry his railroads and highways, and the beating hooves of his animals. Man is able to use the resources of the earth without her mumbling a word in protest. It is with reference to this that Allah mentions in Surah Mulk, verse number 15, that the earth is submissive. Allah then enumerates the various benefits that the earth gives to mankind when he says that earth has fruits and palms with sheeted stalks. Allah has covered the stalks of such plants so that the fruits are protected, and also because these covering may be used for a variety of purpose. In addition to this, Allah has also created seed as chef. This verse refer to cereals like wheat, barley, etc., which are little seeds that provide ample nourishment for man. These foods are also protected in covering that are separated as calf to be fed to animals. Together with all these bounties of the earth, Allah has provided nourishment as well. Some commentators have translated the Arabic word Rehman, translated above as nourishment, as fragrant plants, whereas others translate it as flowers. Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas anhu translate it as sustenance and has stated that the word Rehan refers to sustenance wherever it is mentioned in the Quran. The word Rehan is used in place of risk, sustenance, because sustenance is something from which a person derives satisfaction. The above verses mention those bounties of Allah from the earth that are a staple diet for man, those that he eats for pleasure and those that he feeds to his animals. Therefore, Allah asks, so which flavor of your Rabb do the two of you, man and jinn, deny? Both man and jinn benefit tremendously from these favors. Now I will recite three verses 14, 15, and 16. خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ كَالْفَخَّارِ. Allah has created man from melodious sand that resembles potter's clay. وَخَلَقَ الْجَانَّ مِن مَّارِجٍ مِّن نَّارٍ, and created jinn from pure leaping fire. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you, man and jinn, deny? Allah describes the creation of man when He says that He has created man from melodious sand that resembles potter's clay. Allah Ta'ala took sand, mixed it with water to make clay, and then used the clay to fashion the mold of the first man, Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. When it dried, it becomes hard and would make a melodious sound if struck, just like a clay pot or vase. There were various stages in the creation of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, and these were discussed in the commentary of verse 33 of Surah Hijr, and the number of the surah is 15 in the Quran. And Allah created jinn from pure leaping fire, just as Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was the father of mankind. Many ulama assert that Iblis was the father of the jinn. Therefore, it is often said that man is generally is created from sand and the jinn are created from fire. Because of their fathers were created from these substances. The blessings of being created and granted life is an extremely great bounty without which many other bounties cannot be enjoyed. Because Allah has granted these many favors to mankind and to jinn, it is incumbent to them to be grateful to Him. Allah reminds them of this when He states, so which favor of your Rabb do the two of you, man and jinn, deny? Now I'll recite from verse number 17 till verse number 28. Rabbul Mashriqaini wa Rabbul Maghribain. Allah is the Rabb of the two easts and the two wests. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? Maraj al-Bahrain yaltaqiyan. He has released the two waters so that they meet. Yes, verse number 20. بَيْنَهُمَا بَرْزَخٌ لَا أَبِي sorry بَرْزَخٌ لَا يَبْغِيَانِ. Between the two waters is a barrier so that the two do not transgress. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? يَخْرُجُ مِنْهُمَا اللُّؤْلُؤُ وَالْمَرْجَانُ. Pearls and coral emerge from both of them. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? وَلَهُ الْجَوَارِ الْمُنْشَآتُ فِي الْبَحْرِ كَالْأَعْلَامِ. His are the raised ship on the ocean like mountains. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? Verse number 26. كُلُّ مَنْ عَلَيْهَا فَإِنْ. Everything on earth shall perish. وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. On the countenance of your Rabb, the possessor of majesty and benevolence shall remain. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? Okay, these verses also expound Allah's great bounties. Allah begins by saying that He is the Rabb of the two easts and the two wests. The east refer to the rising point of the sun, while the west refer to the setting points of the sun. The rising and setting of the sun determines the day and night, both of which are beneficial to man and jinn. During the day, people are able to carry out various acts that are not possible during the night, and vice versa. Allah reminds people of this great favor when He says, so which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? Ruhul Mani quotes that Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Hazrat Akram alayhi salam that the two easts refer to the point where the sun rises during the summer and the point where it rises during the winter. Similarly, the two west refer to the point where the sun sets during the summer and the point where it sets during the winter. It has also been reported that according to Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the two easts refer to the rising of the sun and the rising of the twilight, while the two wests refer to the settings of the sun and the settings of the twilight. Allah then speaks of the ocean when He says He has released the two waters so that they meet. Between the two waters is a barrier so that the two do not transgress. Although two types of water bodies seems to be one to the onlooker, they are actually separated by an invincible barrier. In this way, the salty water and fresh water never mix. Man and jinn derives various benefits from the two types of water and therefore are obliged to express gratitude to Allah. Allah reminds them of this when He says, so which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? Pearls and coral emerge from both of them. The various jewels that emerge from the sea are also a great favor from Allah, and man and jinn are required to be grateful to Allah for these. Allah reiterates, so which favor of your Rabb do the two of you deny? As Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu states that the Arabic word lu'lu translated above as pearls refer to smaller pearls and the word marjan translated above as coral refer to large pearls. Hazrat Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu ta'ala anhu states that the word lu'lu translated above as pearls refer to large pearls and the word marjan translated above as coral refers to red coral. An explanation of the two types of water that do not mix has been given in the commentary of Surah Furqan. where Allah states, "It is He who has merged two seas, the one being sweet and quenching, while the other is salty and bitter. He has created between them a barrier that acts as an impregnable veil." Verse number 53. Some have raised the objection that since pearls and coral are not found in fresh water, whereas verse mention that pearls and coral emerge from both of them, in reply to this, some ulama have mentioned that both of them means the collection of both of them, that is coral and pearl, emerge from the collection of both waters. Others have mentioned that pearls are found in both fresh water and salt water, but because they are found mostly in salt water, people generally are unaware of freshwater pearls. Of course, Allah's knowledge is supreme, and man may not contest His knowledge. Man's knowledge of things is extremely limited compared to Allah's knowledge. Allah Ta'ala goes on to say that His are the raised ships on the oceans like mountains. These huge ships remain afloat only by Allah's will. When water gets rough and strong winds blow, it is only Allah that protects the ship and those is in the ship. Allah allows the large ship laden with hundreds of tons of cargo to transverse through the ocean so that man may transport goods from the continent to another. Allah says in Surah Baqarah, "Is the huge ships which transgress the ocean carrying goods for benefit to man are signs for those who have intelligence." Verse number 164. Allah has inspired man to build ships and has granted him the expertise and capabilities to accomplish the task. Allah has also taught man how to navigate the ocean, how to load his shipping vessels, and how to derive maximum benefit from this skill. The shipping trade caters for the needs of millions of people throughout the world. It is never, therefore, incumbent of people to express their gratitude to Allah for this. Therefore, Allah reiterates, "So which favor of your Rabb do the two of you deny?" Everything on earth shall perish, man, jinn, fauna, flora, everything on land and everything at sea are all destined to perish when their lives have expired. When everything shall perish, it will be only the countenance of your Rabb, the possessor, the majesty and benevolence, who shall remain. Allama Qurtubi Rahimullah states that Jalal, translated above as majesty, refers to Allah's grandeur and greatness, and Al-Ikram, translated above as benevolence, means that Allah should be revered to the extent that no degree of shirk, polytheism is perpetuated. Weighing the word Al-Akram from a different perspective, other commentators have mentioned that it means that Allah is the only one who can truly bestow favors and mercy on creation. Allah states in Surah Fajr, verse number 15, As for man, when his Rabb tries him by granting him honor and favors, he say, "My Rabb has honored me." Allah says in Surah Bani Israel, verse number 83, "When we bestow favors upon man, he turns away and changing directions goes far." It is stated in Fadhil Qadir that the special honor donated by the word Ikram is not granted to sinners. However, general favors are granted to the kuffar as well. It is my humble opinion that every human is blessed with a degree of honor by simply being human. This is donated by the words of Bani Israel, verse number 70, where Allah says, "We have granted honor to the children of Adam." However, for the kuffar, this honor is restricted to this world. As soon as they die, they will be made to suffer disgrace, which will perpetuate until eternity. In the Akhirah, the kuffar will have neither honor nor favor, whereas the mu'mineen will enjoy an abundance of both. So, which favor of your Rabb do the two of you deny? Now I'll recite from verse number 29 till verse number 34. يسألوه ما في السماوات والأرض كل يوم هو في شأن. All in the heavens and the earth ask from him, and he is engaged in some matter every day. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? سَنَفْرُغُ لَكُمْ أَيُّهَا الثَّقَلَيْنِ. We shall soon free ourselves for you, O the two of you groups. Verse number 32. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? يَا مَعْشَرَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ إِنِ اسْتَطَعْتُمْ أَن تَنْفُذُوا مِنْ أَقْطَارِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ فَانْفُذُوا لَتَنْفُذُونَ إِلَّا بِسُلْطَانٍ. Verse number 33. O assembly of jinn and man, if you are able to transcend the limits of heavens and the earth, then do so. You will be unable to transcend without the power. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? In the above verses, Allah expresses His greatness and the dependence of man and jinn on Him. Allah also reminds man and jinn that they are not free to do as they please, but they will be required to render an account for all their deeds. Allah states that the day of Qiyamah will come when we shall soon free ourselves for you, or the two of you groups. This verse is symbolic and does not mean that Allah is too preoccupied with their duties to take reckoning. Allah is capable of doing everything perfectly at once, and no act will hinder Him from accomplishing another. The symbolic reference is the phrase, the fact that reckoning will be meticulous. Allah also states that He is engaged in some matter every day. This means that Allah is busy tending to the matters of the universe at every given point in time. By warning man and jinn about the advent of Qiyamah and reckoning, Allah is bestowing them with an extremely great favor. Therefore, Allah states, so which favor of your Rabb do the two of you deny? Highlighting the helplessness of man and jinn, Allah states, O assembly of jinn and man, if you are able to transcend the limits of the heavens and earth, then do so. You will be unable to transcend without the power. It is clear that even the combined forces of man and jinn cannot harness the power to transcend the limit of the heavens and the earth. Since man and jinn are helpless in this very world, they will surely be powerless in the Akhirah, hereafter as well. It is therefore wishful thinking to believe that one will be able to escape Allah's punishment because there is no way to hide. When Qiyamah arrives, every person will realize the error of his way. However, it will then be too late. It is great favor from Allah that He has forewarned man and jinn about this inevitable day. So which favors of your Rabb do the two of you deny? وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.